What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us is a fixed blade, pretty clearly. Now, a while back in a video, I said that this would be one of my two fixed blades if I had to pick two out of my collection. Just this weekend I went camping, and I had an opportunity to take this amazing beast with me and put it through its paces. Woodland Tactical, if you're watching, yeah, there was some batoning, although that's not my favorite thing in the world. This is an amazing knife. Now, what we have here is the River JX5, designed by Chris Tanner over on Prepared Mind 101. This thing is a brute. It is an amazing, amazing knife, and I am so glad that I got one. Well, what did I do with it? Well, I made feather sticks. I used it to strike my ferro rod. I split firewood with it. I opened some packages while I was out there, food and other things. I used it to cut some rope. This is an astonishing knife. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said, it is enormous, right? I mean, this is a big, big knife. But because of the way it is designed, it is easy in hand. It is relatively easy to use. And when you've got big hands like mine anyway, this is a marvelous tool. It didn't let me down, not even once. I assumed that I would be pulling out my Chris Reeves Nyala to be doing the feather sticking with, because why wouldn't I? I didn't need it. Now, I did use other knives to do things like cut up food, although this would have done it, because that's a little ridiculous. But this did everything else I wanted it to do during that trip. Now, we were up in the foothills of the Sierras at a place called Sonora Pass. The weather was beautiful. We had a great time. But I had a lot of fun exploring the sort of capabilities of this knife. Now, we bought bundled firewood as well as cut some of our own from nearby trees and other areas. It didn't matter if the wood was wet or super dry. One swing and this thing would split firewood like nobody's business. I mean, I brought hatchets with me and I ended up not using them because I didn't need to, because I had this. Okay, we used some of the hatchets a little bit, but this would do everything a hatchet would do, as well as serve all the other purposes that you would need a knife for. It was really good to have there. So, you know, what are we looking at here? Well, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 8¾ inches of cutting surfaces, 9 inches of 3V steel. It is 5 millimeters across the back. Hang on just a second. Yep, it is 5 millimeters across the spine. It has a nice sharp spine. If you're going to use ferro rods or other fire sticks, it's really good for that. The handle is exceptionally comfortable. When you get all the way back here for a big long swing, you can generate a ton of power. The swedge up here at the top, I didn't do much stabbing, but I did do a little. Means that you can bury this thing down in some wood when you're not using it. You can set it. You could bury it this way too. I mean, look, this is a hatchet with an exceptionally long blade. It was also a lot of fun. It really was. I don't use a lot of fixed blades. I mean, I go camping periodically, and I have, like I said, fixed blades that I use when I go out. I chose this in my which two knives would you pick based on its potential and capabilities and what I had witnessed in others. Now that I have had it in hand, I will never go out into the outdoors. I will never go camping without it ever again. It's everything that I loved about my Becker BK9, only better. It really is. Now, these are kind of hard to come by. They release them in small batches, and it is $260-something. But I'll tell you, you will have this knife until you are well and truly done with it, and you will be able to pass it on to the next person in your family or in your life that you think will use a good knife down the road. This knife will outlive me. It will outsurvive what I use it for. Now, look, there are some people that beat the ever-living crap out of their knives on a regular basis. I don't know what that would be like. But in my life and in my world, this knife, I will have this knife for outdoor use and for camping until I am a very, very old man. And that makes it worth the money. It isn't just a piece that you buy and then have for a while and then you need to replace it. Not this tank. No way. This has just been such a great addition to the collection. I really want to thank Jimmy Slash, his channel, showed me the first review on one of these from somebody who I personally knew that really guided me into wanting one. And then a buddy of mine, whose name is Chris, happened to have one at his house. And I got that thing in hand and knew that I had to bring one into the collection. What I wasn't expecting, I mean, not really, was how much I was going to love this thing. This is a worthwhile investment if you are an outdoors person at all. It will double up, as I said, as a hatchet or an axe. It is a marvelous self-defense tool if that is what you have handy. It is great all-around use, all-around camp. And it just never let me down, not even once. And interestingly enough, after beating it through a ton of wood, putting it through a ton of paces, I think it's actually sharper than it was when I left. I don't know how that happens, but maybe it's that magic of 3V steel. I don't know. But this thing is astonishing. Anyway, that's just kind of my update review on what is an amazing knife. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. If you have questions about this, which again is the River JX5, or any of the knives you've seen on my channel, feel free to ask down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would love to have you on the channel on a regular basis. For those of you that are already subscribed, thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.